Hello and welcome to session 46 of Direct Tax 2, 4th semester BCom of Mangalore University. We are discussing the chapter Income from Other Sources. We have already solved one problem on this income from other sources in our earlier session. Now in this particular session, we will solve another problem on this concept. Let's look at the problem. Mr. Anish has the following incomes for the year ending 31st March 2020. Ground rent for renting the ground in Punjab, it is rupees 1000. Then we have examiner's remuneration, rupees 5000 for supervising departmental exams conducted by the state government. Then royalty from giving the land for stone quarrying is 50,000 rupees. He spent rupees 5000 in this connection. Income from betting is 11,000. Gift received from father is 75,000. Winnings from TV game show is 1,20,000. Entry fees paid rupees 5,000. Interest received on Sukanya Samriddhi account scheme, it is 5,000. Then 15%, 12% tax-free debentures of LIC Limited, it is sold on 1st of September 2019. Then we have 12,500, 10%. New Mangalore Port Trust bonds purchased at 15,000 on 1st of October 2019, and also Mr. Anish borrowed a loan of 12,000 at 8% per annum. Rupees 30,000 units of UTI, dividend received is 8,600. 2,800 interest on loan given to a relative. 5,000 interest received on NSE 8th issue. 7% 40,000 Karnataka government bonds. 1,200 interest received on deposit in a cooperative bank. 6,000 dividend on equity shares of Reliance Company Limited. Then we have 4,000 dividend received from a cooperative society. 4,680 interest on debentures of UP Housing Board. Rupees 5,400 as interest on debentures of Industrial Finance Corporation of India, which is listed on Delhi Stock Exchange. Rupees 2,400 interest on NSS, that is National Savings Scheme 1992. Rupees 2,000 interest on deposit under Notified National Deposit Scheme. Then we have received from Maharashtra State Lottery 35,000, it's the net amount given. Rupees 80,000 in Post Office Savings Bank account, interest credited at 6%. Then we have interest on Post Office cumulative time deposit account for 15 years, that is 2,600. Interest on post office recurring deposit 1,800. Interest on SB deposit in a national bank is 1,000 rupees. He claims the following deductions. Collection charges on interest 200. Cost of lottery ticket purchased 1,000. Loss from horse races 5,000. Then is given interest on all securities is payable on 1st of January and 1st of July each year. So the question asked is, compute his income from other sources for the previous year 1920. So this is a comprehensive problem on income from other sources where we include casual income, we have interest received, we have investments given, we need to calculate interest on it, some where TDS is involved, some accounts where TDS is not involved, and also we have deductions, that is under section 57. So I will record over here solution, and I record computation of taxable income from other sources. Computation of taxable income from other sources. Taxable income from other sources. So what we can do is, we can just take two amount columns probably. Two amount columns should be good enough. Yes. So let's begin. What is given? Ground rent for renting the ground in Punjab. So I record over here ground rent. That is a taxable income. So no deduction. Directly we can record the amount in the outer column, 1000 rupees. Then we have examinership, examiner's remuneration. So Anish has received for rupees 5,000 was supervising departmental exams conducted by the state government. So 5,000 is in taxable income. Then we have royalty income. Royalty from giving the land for stone quarrying. So I can record over here royalty income. Rupees 50,000. He spent rupees 5,000 in this connection. So that 5,000 we can claim deduction. So 5,000 I record in the inner column. I write expenses incurred. So to earn that income, expenses incurred is deductible. So I record 5,000. So I get 45,000 in the as taxable income. Next we have income from betting. Income from betting. Now in the problem nowhere the word gross is given. Usually in the previous sessions and all we have taken that 30% TDS is there, but we assume that this is gross amount. Just an assumption that we are making that this is a gross amount. So entire amount of 11,000 is taxable. This is a casual income. Then we have gift received from father. We have discussed in the previous session any amount of gift received from relatives is exempt from tax. So gift received from father is exempt from tax. Next we have winnings from TV game shows. So winnings from TV game shows we have rupees 1,200. So I record over here winnings from TV game shows. From TV game shows. Amount is 1,20,000. So I record the entire 1,20,000. I assume the given value is a gross value. So just an assumption made again. And there is entry fees paid rupees 5,000. We have already seen that any expenses incurred to earn a casual income is not deductible. Any losses not deductible. So entry fees paid 5,000 cannot be claimed as deduction. Then interest received on Sukanya Samriddhi scheme. Interest received on Sukanya Samriddhi scheme is totally exempt from tax. So I can record over here, it is exempt from tax. Then we have 15%, 15,000, 12% tax-free debentures of LIC Limited sold on 1st of September 2019. So it is sold on 1st of September 2019. That means interest is received only in the month of July in this particular previous year. So we'll calculate interest for half the year. So I can record over here interest on tax-free debentures of LIC Limited. Amount given is 15,000, that is investment amount. The rate of interest is 12% for half the year. Since it is sold, interest is received only in the month of July because it is sold on 1st of September. So interest is not received in the month of January during the year. So 15,012 is 1,800. 10% is 1,500. 2% of that is yes. So 1,800. Half of that is 900. So 900 will be the interest. That is interest on tax-free debentures of LIC Limited. Only for half the year since it is sold. Then very important point. Rupees 12,500, 10% new Mangalore Port Trust bonds purchased at 15,000 on 1st of October 2019. And very important, it's given, it is purchased on 1st of October 19. So interest is not received in July, but interest is earned in January. So interest only for half the year. Now, the investment value, cost of investment is 15,000. But the face value of investment is only 12,500. So, very important point, I record interest on new Mangalore Port Trust bonds, interest on New Mangalore Port Trust bonds. Investment value is 15,000, but remember, company will pay interest on face value, not on the purchase price. So the face value of investment is 12,500. Rate of interest is 10%. Rate of interest is 10%, and interest is received only for half the year. Interest is not received in July, it will be received only in January because this is purchased in October. So 10% of 12,500 is 1250, half of that is 625. So 625, and also it's given borrowed a loan of rupees 12,000 at 8% per annum. So Mr. Anish has borrowed a loan which we can claim deduction under section 57. Then we have units dividend received on units of UTI. Dividend received on units of UTI. Dividend received from units of UTI is exempt from tax. Next, interest on loan given to a relative. So this is an income. Interest on loan given to a relative. Given to a relative. The amount is 2,800. 2,800. Next we have interest received on NSE 8th issue. Interest on National Savings Certificate 8th issue. It is included in other sources income, but you can claim deduction under section 80C. So interest on NSE 8th issue 5,000 is taxable. Next we have 7% 40,000 Karnataka government bonds. So I record interest on Karnataka government bonds. Investment amount is 40,000 into the rate of interest is given 7%. So full year's interest is available. So 7%, 400 into 7 will be 2,800. Will be the interest amount. Next we have interest received on deposit in a cooperative bank. It is taxable. Interest on deposit in a cooperative bank, that is fully taxable. The amount is 1,200. 1,200. Next we have dividend on equity shares of Reliance. Dividend on equity shares of Reliance Company Limited. Now, dividend received from an Indian company is exempt. That is for the previous year 1920 is exempt from tax. Next we have dividend received from a cooperative society. This is fully taxable. Dividend received from a cooperative society. And remember, no TDS for dividend received from cooperative society. It is fully taxable. So 4,000 rupees. Next we have rupees 4,680 interest on debentures of UP Housing Board. Point to note, interest amount is given. And it's a local authority there. UP Housing Board. So interest, there is always a TDS of 10%. So we record interest on debentures of UP Housing Board. Interest on debentures of UP Housing Board. Now the interest amount is given here 4,680. 4,680 is given. We need to cross this. The TDS rate is always 10%. So 4,680 is 90%. Full value, gross amount, 100% is how much? So I record over here, it must be grossed. It must be grossed. So grossed amount, 4,680 into 90 when you calculate, 9 5s are. So 5,200 is the value. So I can record 5,200 as the value. Next we have rupees 5,000 as interest on debentures of Industrial Finance Corporation of India. That is given 5,400. So I will record it here. I will draw the format again, two amount columns. So Industrial Finance Corporation is given, and also in this case interest amount is given. So when interest amount is given, definitely we need to take into account the grossing factor. So interest on debentures of Industrial Finance Corporation of India. Industrial Finance Corporation of India. So interest amount is given 5,400 and there is a TDS of 10%. So it goes without saying, when interest is given, when investment amount and the rate of interest is given, you can calculate interest. But when interest amount is given, grossing up becomes necessary. So 9 6 are 54. So the amount is 6,000. So 5,400 into 100 divided by 90. So I can record over here, I write grossed. So it is grossed up. Net amount is given because interest portion is given. Then we have interest on National Savings Scheme. Interest on National Savings Scheme. So that interest is taxable, amount is 2,400. Next we have interest on deposit. Interest on deposit in a notified deposit, national deposit scheme, notified national deposit scheme, 2,000 is taxable. Next we have lottery price, and in bracket it's very clearly given that it is net amount, and for casual income we know it has to be grossed up, and TDS rate on casual income is 30%. So it would be 100 divided by 70. So 7 5s are 35. So the lottery price gross amount is 50,000. Here we have assumed that these are gross amounts given. These are gross amounts given. But you can take net amount, calculate, but giving a note, that also should be fine. Here in the problem, net is clearly given. Net amount is given. So grossing up becomes compulsory. So that is 50,000. Now, next very important point, we have interest on post office savings bank account. Interest on post office savings bank account, and it's given 80,000 is the investment. The rate of interest is 6%. So it is interest amount I record here is 4,800. Now there is a clear cut rule. Interest on post office savings bank account or the last one, interest on SB deposit in nationalized bank put together, you can claim a deduction of up to 3,500 rupees if it's an individual account, or 7,000 rupees if it's a joint account. So less exempt. Since this is an individual account, so up to 3,500 rupees there is an exemption. So this is the rule. So 1,300 becomes taxable. And the last point which is given, interest on SB deposit in a national bank is fully taxable because 3,500 is already deducted. No separate deduction is available. So interest on post office savings bank account 4,800 and there is exemption of 3,500 rupees. This is only for post office. Yes, only for post office, not for the last point. So 1,300 is deductible. Then we have interest on post office, cumulative time deposit account, and in bracket it's given, it's a 15 years deposit and the interest amount is 2,600, so no deduction, so directly in the outer column. Then you have interest on post office recurring deposit, the amount is 1,800, fully taxable. Then we have interest on SB deposit in a nationalized bank. The amount is taxable 1,800. So for this interest, he can claim deduction under section 80 TTA. That is the last part. Okay. That's all we have as far as incomes are concerned. Then we'll have to calculate all the deductions. So first we will total how much is the amount. So I will record over here. The amount is 5. Then we have 2. Yes, just 2. Then you have 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 plus 6 is 13, 21. 21 plus 9 is 30, 36. 36, 40, 44, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. So 56 and 5. 5 plus 6 is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 26 plus 5 is 31, 32, 32, 33, 34, 39, 40, 41, 42, 46. 46 plus 5 is 51. So 1 and 5 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. 15, 16, 17. So 17. 7 and 1. So you get 2,71,625. 2,71,625 is the income. Then from this we have deductions. Already expenses on royalty we have claimed a deduction that is anyway available. Then there is loan borrowed. To purchase New Mangalore Port Trust bonds he had borrowed a loan. So I can record over here deductions under section 57. Interest on loan borrowed for investment. Interest on loan borrowed for investment. So it's given, he has borrowed a loan of rupees 12,000 at 8% interest into, when was the loan borrowed? He has purchased New Mangalore Port Trust bonds on 1st of October. This was purchased on 1st of October. So we assume loan was also borrowed on 1st of October. So October, November, December, January, February, March. So into 6 by 12 for half the year. So for 6 months. So 12 8s are 96, 9,600 and half of that is 4,800. So I record 4,800 in the inner column. So 12,000 is the loan borrowed. Rate of interest is 8% and it is borrowed only for 6 months. That is 1st October to 31st of March. So 4,800. So that's all you have here. Then he claims the following deduction. Collection charges on interest. So collection charges on interest. Since all interests are taxable, we can claim deduction for collection charges and the amount is 200 rupees. Amount is 200. Then cost of lottery ticket purchased. We have a lottery price. Point is very clear. Any expenses incurred even on the purchase of a lottery ticket is not deductible. From casual income, you cannot deduct anything. Even if there is a casual loss, that also cannot be deducted. Then there is loss from horse races. Loss from horse races cannot be claimed as deduction at all. Then as usual regarding interest on all securities is payable on 1st of January and 1st of July each year. So we have only these 2 deductions under section 57. Only 2 deductions. I hope we haven't. Yes, winnings from TV game shows 1,20,000 and entry fees paid was given 5,000. So no deduction is available for that as well. Okay, that's all you have. So total deduction would be 5,000 rupees. 5,000. So from 2,71,000 deduct 5, you get 2,66,625. 2,66,000 plus 5 is 2,71,000. Therefore, taxable income from other sources. taxable income from other sources is rupees 2,66,625. So this is about this problem, comprehensive problem on income from other sources. So let's look at the problem. Ground rent, examiner's remuneration is fully taxable. Now to earn royalty income, he has incurred certain expenses which he can claim deduction. Income from betting and income from TV game shows, gross, net, nothing is given. We assume that it's a gross amount. You can assume that it's a net amount, but giving a note and into 100 divided by 70 can be done. There is absolutely no problem. So gift received from father, any amount of gift received from relatives is fully exempt from tax. Then we have interest received on Sukanya Samriddhi scheme, that is an exempt income. Interest on tax-free debentures, investment amount is given, rate of interest is given. So 15,000 into 12 is 1,800, and since it is sold in the month of September or October as given in the problem, interest is received only in the month of July, not in January. So interest is received only for half the year. So the amount 1,800, half of that is 900. Then interest on NMPT bonds is purchased on 1st of October. Now very important point, though the cost is face value of investment is 12,500, it is purchased at 15,000. But company will pay interest only on its face value. So 12,500 into 10% is 1,250, and half of that, because interest will be received only in January. So half of 1,250 is 625. Then we have dividend received on units of UTI, which is exempt from tax. Interest on loan given to a relative. You have given a loan to a relative and you are receiving interest. So that is other sources income, taxable. Interest on NSE 8th issue is taxable, fully taxable, but you can claim deduction under section 80C. Then we are calculating this. Then you have interest on Karnataka bonds. 40,000 is the investment amount. Rate of interest given is 7%. So 40,000 into 7%, the interest is 2,800. Then you have interest on deposit in cooperative bank, fully taxable. Dividend on equity share of Reliance Company Limited. Dividend on Indian received from Indian companies is exempt from tax for the year 1920. Then you have dividend received from a cooperative society, fully taxable. Then interest amount is given, received from UP Housing Board, 4680. So this 4680 is always, when interest amount is given, we need to gross it up, and TDS rate is always 10%. So we take, if this is 90%, 100 is how much? Into 100 by 90, when we gross it, you get 5,200. Similarly, interest on debentures of IFC is given 5,400. So when interest is given, grossing up becomes compulsory into 100 by 90. So the actually gross amount of interest would be 6,000. Interest on national savings scheme, fully taxable. Deposit in a national deposit scheme, fully taxable. Lottery prize is given, it's a net amount, we need to gross it. So 100 by 70, you will get 50,000 rupees gross amount. Then interest on post office savings bank account, the interest amount is 80,000 into 6, that would be 4,800. And the rule we have, exempt from post office savings bank account, the interest for an individual account is 3,500. We assume that this is an individual account, so deduct 3,500, you get taxable amount of 1,300. Then interest on post office cumulative time deposit account 15 years taxable. Post office recurring deposit account fully taxable. Interest on savings bank deposit national bank fully taxable. So when we add up all these numbers, we get 2,71,625. Then for the purchase of NMPT bonds, new NMPT bonds, New Mangalore Port Trust bond, there was a loan borrowed. Loan amount borrowed was 12,000. Rate of interest is 8%, and it was borrowed on 1st of October. So 1st October to 31st March is 6 months. So 9,600, half of that is 4,800. Then there is collection charges on interest that is given, because interest are all taxable. So collection charges is also deductible. So total value of deduction under 57 is 5,000. So when you deduct, you get 2,66,625. So that is taxable income from other sources. So I hope this problem, comprehensive problem on income from other sources, is clear. Thank you.